Hey guys, welcome back to another Marketer's Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Daniel. I am the content director at DashClicks. And today we have the super cool John Shea from No Shame Income coming out from Massachusetts. John, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you. I'm glad you're here. So what is it that you actually do and how do you generate revenue?
Sure. So I've had kind of a long journey where I've tried a lot of different things over the years, but I guess I could focus on the two main areas that I'm producing most of my income now. Mainly, I am kind of in like three little buckets, I guess you could say. I've got online courses and trainings and things like that I'm teaching most of the things that I'm doing myself. And then I'm also making a lot of money as a marketing kind of freelance consultant, where I go out and sell either services like web design or search engine optimization. And then I also have a newer business that I've actually been putting a lot more of my energy and time into over the last year, where I've been reviewing physical products and basically just creating video reviews of things that you might have around your home, or could be tech, various different types of products in all categories, and basically doing affiliate marketing, making a living doing that. So that's been really interesting and kind of the new thing. I guess let me know if you want more background, I could go into more detail on all of it, but essentially I've tried to build a lot of what I've been doing as much passive as I can, in terms of like whatever I put time and energy into, I want to be able to like see the rewards from that, months or even years down the line.
Yeah, that's interesting because you're doing a lot of different things. And sometimes I find when people focus on a lot of different things, they don't, some people like yourself probably do all of it quite well and it becomes profitable, but I do feel people struggle sometimes when they focus on too many things. Have you been able to put a system together that you kind of can predictably scale each thing that you put your mind in or focus on?
Yeah. So for me, it was kind of like, if I go back to like the beginnings, which would have been like 2012, 2014, give or take.
Is that when you started everything?
Yeah, that's when I started everything. And again, I, had gone through, tried a lot of different things. There's many things I tried that just went nowhere. Some of it I made a little money and wouldn't really be worth discussing too much, but there was a lot of failure. And the things that have worked the best was I started out with web design, and that wasn't really very passive, but I learned a lot more around sales skills. And I was really kind of struggling there for a while. I was still working 9-to-5 jobs. And long story short, I basically hired a mentor. He taught me about using freelance sites and kind of how to sell better and ways to kind of systemize what I was doing. And to kind of make that a longer story short, I have just recently passed $200,000 in earnings on Upwork, which is a popular freelance platform.
Congratulations.
So I came up with a good process there where I could go out and find people who needed work. And then I partnered up with other agencies or small business owner type, like agency owners that I could just refer work to. So really I was kind of like a glorified sales rep in a sense. I would go on Upwork. I came up with a process where I'll pitch someone like a proposal, and I had a little sales process we came up with a lot of these vendors where I'll do several phone calls, kind of lead them into a sale. And I've been closing deals anywhere from as low as like $500 a month to upwards of $5,000 a month. And a lot of those I'll refer and just basically take a 15% cut on commissions. Right. I've been doing that both with SEO services, which are monthly, and then also email marketing, where entrepreneurs or business owners need regular emails written. I have partners that I'm basically just sourcing all the leads to. And then I'm just taking a cut of a lot of the back end. So I pretty much created that as like a passive asset. If a client leaves and I want more clients, I just go back out and pitch more proposals and make more money. Wow. That's been one, revenue source. And then the most latest one I've been doing is these physical product video reviews. So I could take something simple, like as an example here, I have a really nice, this is a Steel Series headset. I might make a video review on this, and I could publish it on YouTube, as well as some other places online, like social platforms, and make commissions from places like Amazon or other places this might be sold. So this is an avenue I've been spending a lot of time in recently. And honestly, it's been a lot more fun than doing the client type sales stuff. You're not really talking to a lot of people, obviously.
Yeah, right.
So this has
not
been
doing
really
like high ticket closing or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it's like easier per se. Like obviously the revenue there depends on where you put the time and energy and where you're getting your leads. But
sure.
I kind of have fallen into this as like a fun thing. So that's what I've been working on recently.
That's really cool. You're kind of like a serial entrepreneur. Do you go after a certain niche?
I mean, right now I've been more focused in like the make money online space, I guess.
Mm,
That's where a lot of my time has been spent. So it's kind of a shroud of like the client consulting world and like probably more affiliate marketing world.
mm,
So a
yeah,
little bit of everything there. So when I learned strategies around email marketing, that kind of played a role in selling courses or selling consulting services, selling email as a service, or selling affiliate products, right? All of
mm,
that can kind of go under that same umbrella of skills.
right. Do you have any team members?
Not technically. Most of it is people that I'm like utilizing as partners. I actually had a good friend of mine who went to law school for like 8 years, got his degree, passed the bar, and he was really unhappy with his life. And I bought this property that has a large garage. I was talking to you before we started, but he
Right.
actually lives above the garage in my in-law apartment, and he does all the email marketing work. He does that full time email marketing basically for businesses, and I just
Yeah.
pass him leads and take a cut when I send him leads. So he's basically got a full time income doing email marketing, and you could call him like a team member in a sense, but it's more like I have
Yeah.
partners like him. I have other guys that I have for SEO. I have people that I might utilize for doing some video editing, but they're more like virtual assistants, things like that. I haven't really built like a big team, if you will.
It's more like you just have your channels. So if you need something done, you just refer it out and get that referral fee.
Yep.
Oh, interesting. How many active clients do you have?
Right now, I want to stay around like 7 or 8. Some of them are smaller paying clients. We had a couple that just left recently, and I just haven't been like super eager to go back and get a ton more just
Yeah.
because the product review stuff has been going well for me.
Mm.
So I've been really focused more on that. But I've kind of put myself in a position with the way I built my Upwork profile. If I need to, I can always go get more at any time.
How do you have like a large network or reach or like an audience that you can kind of just tap into?
I do have an email list of probably about 6,000 people, and that's been from mostly doing like product launches and selling online courses, doing JV partnerships with other like make money online type internet marketers,
Yeah.
um, things like
Mm.
that. And then I've got, probably a few thousand friends on Facebook, but I don't really post much. I'm not big on like social media. Probably the bigger area I like to focus on is my email list because I feel like that's a good controllable asset. But
It
outside of
definitely is.
that, I don't really like do a whole lot of audience building.
I feel like the largest conversions you can produce if you're for online marketing is through your email list. I feel like if you
Yeah,
have
it's
a well nurtured
definitely
list,
been
becomes sales on demand.
exactly. Yeah, it's been huge for me.
That's amazing. You kind of went over your pricing model a little bit. You were saying you typically charge anywhere from 500 to 5,000 a month. It just sort of depends on what kind of services or package or consulting they need. But do you have like a value ladder where you kind of get people in at a lower amount and then the relationship builds to higher payments over time?
For like the SEO stuff that I've been selling at like those price points, I've been trying to go after clients that are willing to at least pay like 2,000, whereas like years ago it was more like I would take the 500 and $1,000 clients.
Mm,
But more recently, I've been trying to go after larger like national businesses, and usually I can just come in with such a strong proposal, and it's very convincing right out of the gate that I can close them as a bigger ticket, like $2,000 to $5,000 type client.
yeah.
And that's been working really well. And usually that's just how I approach it. Um, I'm working on something for a course on my review product business where I'm probably going to come up with like a $30 like low barrier entry type offer, and then I'll maybe sell them into like $1,000 or like a higher level high ticket type offer that'll be like multiple thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So I haven't really quite ironed that out yet, but that's kind of in progress. That's what I'm working on this week.
Got it. So we kind of jumped into this question a little bit too about what kind of moves your revenue needle the most. And I know you were saying that your freelance profile has been doing well, but it seems like you've transitioned from that more into the product review. Has product reviews
Yeah,
just kind of been comparable?
Yeah. So, I mean, while I was doing a lot of this work, doing the consulting and stuff on the side, I partnered with a friend of mine on some webinar type course offers. We had built like some software and sold that and made a lot of money using webinars. So I've always been,
Oh, got it.
seeing the capability of like what you can really do going out there and selling something as like a course or a training or even software. And he was doing YouTube and really blowing up his audience from YouTube. He went from, I think it was like 20,000 or 30,000 subscribers to like well over 100,000. And I was like really motivated by that.
Yeah.
So I started doing YouTube for a little while and I was taking it pretty seriously for a while. And while still making a lot of the passive income from my consulting work, I figured I'd go out and focus my free time on YouTube and build up my YouTube audience from scratch. So I went out and
It's noble.
while I was doing that, I was doing everything marketing and talking about all this stuff, but really none of those videos were doing all that well. But I randomly did a video product review on the Peloton bike, which is an exercise bike. And
Yes.
it ended up getting like over 100,000 views. So I was like,
Wow.
okay. And then I did this for more product review type products. I made a comparison of this office chair I'm sitting in to like a gaming office chair that I had.
Yeah.
And the video blew up. It got like 500,000 views. So it did half a
Jeez.
million views.
Well, I
And
can
I
see
ended
how
up
I can see why you're like, there's an opportunity here.
yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm onto something. And this chair sells retail for about $330. And the company had an affiliate offer where if you refer someone and they buy the chair, you make an affiliate commission. So I ended up making about $30 for each chair sold. And I ended up making close to $15,000 from that video from all the referrals I was getting. I had like literally 500 something transactions. I was also selling some of their other products. I have like a standing desk. You can kind of see the corner of it here, made by the same company. So I made a video on that. That did really well. Obviously, more commissions from that. And then I basically continued doing this trend and found out there's opportunity where I can do YouTube stuff and stuff with Amazon doing the product reviews. And I've been averaging since last May, probably about $15,000 to $20,000 a month doing that. So I far surpassed like all of my consulting income and SEO, referral stuff I was doing. Obviously, I wasn't working because I was just referring it and making passive income. But because, I'm only making 15% on, let's say it's a $4,000 deal, I might walk away from that deal for like $600 or $700 or something after the fees. So while it's not a small amount of money, it was like getting a small paycheck. I wasn't, once this sort of started taking off with the product reviews, I was like, wow, this is something I should really take seriously. So I just happen to have a lot of stuff around our house. Me and my wife are a bit materialistic people, if I'm being honest. So I was able to kind of utilize like this weird hoarding skill, I guess, and turn it into like into income basically.
See, okay. So here's what's kind of funny. I was going to ask like, what marketing strategies do you use to kind of start your daily conversations with potential clients? And I was also going to ask, what's the most successful automation you have set up in your business? But that sort of answers both those questions, where once you create the video and put that time in, and then you start getting those referral fees, that video lives up there forever. So it's just continually people refer and people purchase the product. So once you put the work in and it's up there, I mean, it's automated for you.
Exactly. Yeah. And that was like my whole motto with a lot of this stuff has been, I don't mind like working and, spending time during the day working away at this stuff, but it'd be cool to automate as much as what I'm doing as possible. So whether or not it's doing these physical product reviews, I'm creating videos, the videos live out there and continuously are helping people make consumer type buying decisions. And anything else I do, like this course I'm working on, which is basically it's teaching this entire model. It goes in depth on like the YouTube side of things, as well as other avenues I'm using to make income. And with that, I could build a webinar that will help me sell the offer. I could build emails that will help me sell that offer. So all of it's kind of about building and then having that engine just kind of continue running in the background, working for me while I'm not necessarily there. So that was
so you're not necessarily getting deals or customers to create these videos. Like no one's coming to you and say, could you create a review video? You're kind of scouting out to figure out what review video or product I should push.
Well, right now, some people go into like specific verticals, right? So there might be a woman that just does like fashion or beauty or makeup. I've kind of gone and just looked around and said, okay, like what are valuable things that I have, right? So we have a 2-year-old. So we have a, $300 baby stroller, right? So if I make a video review where I talk about what it was like to build it when it got out of the box, what is it like to use it? Is it actually, a good product? Here's what it's like when it's, rolling. Here's the like thing that you can snap on that has the drink cup holder or whatever. So it's like I'm giving a consumer a really good idea of what to expect before they buy the product, and probably better than what they'd get if they just were like reading a text description on the product. So I just kind of went around and found anything. Like I literally am making money from paper towels and toilet paper and soap and anything. Like I've done it for pretty much anything that you could buy online in the e-commerce like space. I'll do videos and make income from those.
So what do you think what CRM are you well, actually, here's the question. Are you using a CRM besides
right now,
like your email, or are you just
really,
finding like when you get your customers, you're able to log them and kind of manage them for other videos that you have?
For the video review side of what I'm doing, I have like spreadsheets I use to kind of track vendor relationships. So I have some things where I'm getting paid because there's a lot of vendors that, like, let's say they have a product. I have something here, for example. I'll use this as an example. So a company just sent me this. I haven't even opened this yet. This is actually a KVM switch. So this is like, I think, a $200 KVM switch. And if, for those of you listening, don't know what that is, basically, if you had 2 computers with 1 monitor, 1 keyboard, 1 mouse, you could use this. Thing's actually kind of slick. You can hook this up so you can have all your mouse and keyboards in here. So this thing's like, I don't know, $100. So a vendor sent me this for free. And I basically just make a note of saying, hey, I need to do a video review on this product, which means I'm going to have to hook it up, test the whole thing. And then I'll basically do a video, which will help the vendor to make more sales, because it's giving the consumers a better idea of how does this thing work? Is it a good product? Does it work well? All that stuff. And then I'm basically going and invoicing them after the fact, and usually making somewhere around like $25 to $50 per video. But I'm getting tons of requests from vendors like almost daily. And I'm getting tons of free product out of it as well. I just did a yard sale here last Saturday and sold like almost $400 worth of stuff, and just let things go and gave away a bunch of stuff, donated things. Yeah, it's been kind of a cool business model. It's like almost,
it seems, I mean, I don't want to say it's what am I trying to say? I don't want to say it seems misleading, because it's not, but it seems like it's very easy to do. But I feel like if you get into, like, to get started, it's probably a learning curve for you to kind of figure out how to get to this point. Like you were saying in the beginning, you kind of fell into it sort of, and then you kind of worked your way around to now make it into this automated kind of consistent business that you have. But like in your agency, because we do have a lot of marketing agency owners listening in, what CRM do you prefer, and like why do you use that if you were managing customers in your marketing agency?
Yeah, one of the ones that I really liked was Nutshell, and then the other one is Pipedrive. Those would probably be the two that I'd recommend. But for me, because of the way that I run a lot of the client-based work that I have, like some of the client agency type business work that I have, with those, I'm really going out as a salesperson selling a client on a service, and then I'm referring that to another agency, and they're usually using their own internal systems. And I know one of my bigger referral partners uses ClickUp, and that's his number one like kind of project management system that he uses to organize everything, client tasks, and all of that. So hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, it does. No, thank you. And are you, I mean, it seems like you're remote, so you're primarily just using Zoom. And like, if someone were to, like that client that sent you the product for review, how are you usually communicating with each other? It's like
most of the time just email or Facebook.
And they just reach out to you directly and they kind of just start the conversation?
Yeah, I had someone earlier this morning, like usually they'll send me a message and say, are you an influencer that does product reviews? And I'll say, sure. And I'll basically just ask them for the product, take a look, and then I'll tell them what my rates are, and then they'll either agree or not agree. If it's something I really want, I might take it for free. I just got like a new cordless stick vacuum that was like $150, and I gave it to my roommate upstairs. So basically he gets a new free vacuum, and all I have to do is make a 5-minute video, and it ends up being beneficial in the end for everyone.
Gosh, that just seems so, it seems fun, to be honest. Just
It
getting all
is,
these
yeah, and
cool
that's why
products, getting to play with them. And then you just, I mean, there's got to be a lot of production you put into the video though. Is there, or is it pretty simple?
Well, I keep it really simple. I think part of where a lot of people probably would struggle is a lot of people go into creating videos or audio, or like my wife, right, is like deathly afraid of being on camera. So that's going to be a challenge in of itself for a lot of people. And then I've just been doing video for so long, between recording all the courses I've created. I've recorded on the application Loom. When people email me, I hate typing emails. So I would just reply with Looms, and I've probably recorded over 3,000 of those. So I go pretty bananas with video. So I've gotten a lot more like fluent in my speaking. And then I think I just kind of have a little bit of a gift for taking a really simple, basic item, and I can make it sound very exciting and intricate. So I'll usually like hit on separate points, things like, what was it like to build this thing, right? So if I was to talk about, I'll give an example. And since we're on video, I just built, you can kind of see it back there. You can see Arnold's head. I just built a little Terminator 2 arcade cabinet yesterday. Yeah. So I could do a video review on that and talk about like, what was it like to install it? How long did it take to install it? Mm-hmm. What is it like using it? I could boot it up, show them all the settings. I could show them the gameplay, talk about, there's so many things that you could, kind of get into. That's obviously a little more intricate as something to review. But right. I've even done that same idea, taking like a literal like table desk that's like the most simple desk in the world, and I could just hit on those same points. And I'm pretty good at describing and kind of doing it unscripted. Most of the time I record videos, I don't even have to do retakes, because I just kind of think in my mind, all right, what is it that I'm going to say? And then I immediately go into it. Yeah. And I think consumers like that style more. They, there's obviously some benefit if it's something like, let's say I was talking about a computer and it was really very detailed. Like I could talk about all the specs, the memory, the hard drives, the graphics card, all those different things, and really get into a lot of detail. But most of the things I'm doing, it's very simple. Like if I record a video on it.
This is also really interesting because this sort of, I think this applies to, and you probably agree with this, I think this applies to, you're essentially trying to sell the product, hence it being a review.
Yeah.
And the other thing that has got to improve your just overall ability to sell something, because you learn to speak better, more clearly, and you're able to explain, if you're selling a arcade or if you're selling an SEO package, which if you sell SEO or you're in the industry, that trying to explain SEO to someone who doesn't know SEO is kind of complicated and confusing. So if you can take something complicated and explain it well, and make it simplified to where they're on the same page, that's got to help your sales.
Yeah. And that's kind of, it's almost like it just becomes like second nature, similar to if you've learned to drive a 5-speed, manual in your car. If you were to go explain it to someone, it's a little harder now that you've like learned the pattern of like taking your foot off the clutch and like knowing kind of what to do, right? It just becomes like this natural thing over time. So I think even for me, I used to be really unconfident to sell something for $4,000, like an SEO package. And then that just became kind of natural. So if I quote someone that, I don't, I go into it with like a lot more confidence. And I know that because the people I'm working with or the vendors that I have can fulfill on that work, and that we're actually going to get them stellar results, it makes it that much easier for me to like go into these deals and just into sales conversations in general, and like really building a lot of rapport very quickly. That's something I feel I've always been pretty good at. And all that's just kind of like life experience. I even used to joke, before I met my wife, I would go on like a lot of dating websites, and, it takes time to like build confidence for someone to like want to meet you as a stranger. Right. And I felt like a lot of the time I spent like practicing that even became useful in the sales world, because you have to build rapport for someone to trust you to want to hand over that income so that they'll pay you for service.
Exactly.
So,
there's a guy named Rory Sutherland, and Rory Sutherland, one of his famous, do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't.
Okay. You got to check out Rory Sutherland. He's a marketing guy, works for one of the largest marketing agencies, is Ogilvy. And he has a very, I would say, amazing, unique mindset mindset towards marketing. And one of his main quotes is kind of what you're saying, is marketing is even found in nature, or sales and marketing, I would say, kind of goes together a bit. So it's even found in nature. An example is when a bee is flying around, a flower has to convince it to come land on it. And the way they do that is essentially their petals is their marketing budget. So the bigger the petals, the more likely the bee is going to fly into it, versus one that, he says it's a weed with a marketing budget, essentially.
That's funny.
So
I like that.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. And it kind of that reminded me of when you were talking about what you just said. So in the past 12 months, just kind of in general, with everything you've been doing, how much revenue have you generated?
If I were to look in total, I'd probably be somewhere like shy over the 200K range. If I was to look at everything combined, from my like product reviews, like the standard commissions that I've been making, I'm probably around like the 160 to 170,000 mark. And then I have some vendor partnerships. So I've earned bonuses and additional commissions doing that. I get paid to go like live on some platforms, and I get extra money from that. So that's probably tallied up like another 15 to 20K, give or take. And then I've also had course sales from platforms like Udemy, Skillshare, and there's many other third-party course platforms that I'm on, probably several thousands of dollars from that stuff, just kind of passively. And then my client income, I'd usually bring in anywhere from like 3,000 to 5,000 a month, depending on the clients that I have. And that's been pretty consistent throughout the year. I just passed like 100,000 in billing for one of the clients that pays almost 5K a month. And I'm usually taking home, $700-800 from that after all the fees and everything from Upwork. And then that's just my commission from the full amount.
Man, you're crushing it.
Nice. Yeah. Like it's weird because sometimes I get down on myself. Like I know I could be doing more. But it's hard when you have a kid too. It's just a lot of extra upkeep. Like my wife is sick today, and it's like, should I be inside helping her out or out here trying to make more money? So it can be like a tough balancing act, but I've got enough going that it's just given me the ability to do a lot of fun things, buy things that I liked, like a massage chair or a Terminator arcade machine or whatever.
You've diversified.
Yeah, exactly.
So like in 12 months from now, what kind of revenue goal do you have? Like a realistic revenue goal from today, 12 months later?
I don't know. I'd actually like to. So a weird thing for me, and since this is like a mindset podcast, is I've always had this struggle around the idea of generating traffic. And I can't really say that I'm bad at that because I've had a video on YouTube go viral and get 500,000 views, right? But I always had this thing about that, like it was a block in my mind. It really put me at a standstill when I was trying to run ads. And I know that the potential for me to make a lot of money is really there with online courses and training. I think that's a really lucrative business model. I've seen a lot of fellow entrepreneurs do insanely well. One of my mentors was just talking about how he had a $200,000 day from a webinar that he ran. So like the ability to do that is, and the scalability of that is exciting to me. So currently, because I've been doing so well with this product review business, I originally was teaching agency type stuff. I was teaching strategies around how I would, use Upwork, go and like, I would show my proposal strategy, show everything around that. But I think that market is really just extremely saturated. Like you look left and right and there's a ton of people teaching SEO or agency type trainings. And a lot of people have even come and gone out of that space. I've followed it for many years. And I've kind of sort of become disinterested in client-based services. It just isn't exciting to me. Like I'd much rather get a KVM switch and fiddle around with this for like an hour or two than go like sit on the dealing with clients, right? Even if it was selling them, right? I prefer to be doing something else. So I knew that when I started making good money with this, if I could teach this and scale this up into a new course, this could be a real game changer from the course side of things. So my
sure.
goal was to really kind of conquer the trafficking this coming year and kind of get over that block in my mind around that stuff. Maybe
Yeah.
either get some YouTube ads or like TikTok ads going around that, which I
Oh,
think
because
would
you're
work.
not really doing any of that right now. So there's a lot of opportunity for
Mhm.
you to expand.
Yep. So I mean, I have a course that I just completed, and a good friend of mine who runs an affiliate marketing like training that he does. He has a good audience for what I'm teaching. We're going to do like a collaborative webinar at the end of the week.
Oh,
So
cool.
I'm really excited to kind of see how that will do teaching some of what I've been doing over the last year. And then if that works out and maybe it shows there's, potential, I'll go out and start running ads and build a whole like funnel, build out webinar, emails, all that
Right.
good stuff.
So that would
Yeah.
probably be what you would have to change to get to that goal.
Yeah, like it'd be awesome if I could make, an extra $100,000 a year from the course stuff. And
Right.
then if I continue getting my product review things, I could just invest money into ads from the revenue, making from the product reviews, and then use that to churn up the income quite a bit.
Oh, sure. So a lot of the people that watch this podcast are like new business owners, and they may have little to no knowledge. And so when I mean little to no knowledge, I mean they may not even know what a CRM is. So what's like the number one tip you could give to a new business owner that could save them years of wasted time?
Um, man, I've made a lot of mistakes over the time that I've been doing things. I think, and I've thought about this because at different times I've had different advice over the years of like what I would tell someone if they were starting from scratch.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing would really just be, and I struggle with this, and I think a lot of people do, is finding something that you enjoy, that you have the ability to scale, and that you can also do and enjoy doing, right? I see a lot of entrepreneurs, for example, they post on social media constantly. I was thinking to myself over and over again, like over the last few weeks, I realize those guys are probably crushing it, like attracting people and building their audience that way. But for the love of me, I can't do it. I hate it. Like I would rather go work a 9 to 5 job than sit around posting on Facebook.
It's funny because it's not too different from the review videos you do in a sense.
Yeah, it's weird like that though, right? Like it's almost like in my mind, I just said, I hate this. Like, I don't know how these people are posting all the time, but
Right.
I can go and take my camera and like make a video on like Gatorade or something a lot easier than I could like write on Facebook, I guess. I don't know what it is, but I
Right.
just didn't really like the idea of it. Maybe it's something I just need to kind of get over, I suppose. But I was trying to find avenues where I was having more fun and like actually enjoy what I was doing. And I've been having a lot of fun with video creation, like of like the span of my career, because
Yeah.
I've created tons of courses for like Udemy. I've created tons of videos doing Loom, like communicating with people, with clients, doing proposals, doing sales type stuff, communicating with students, anything like that. And then now doing videos on products. It's kind of like I took a lot of the video skills and now turned it into something that's like directly
Right.
creating like revenue.
So are you basically saying kind of just focus on some, maybe even if you're not totally certain what that area is, but maybe like a vague area of interest that you gravitate towards, and just kind of engulf yourself in it and spend the short-term upfront time of learning it, and then making sure that you can morph that into something that, first of all, you could do it and have fun, and then it can scale into something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's really just kind of finding like a little area you can spend your time in. There's so many areas that you could, when you start getting into, especially the make money online world, it's very easy to get overwhelmed. There's so many different things and so many opportunities, and you've got ads and people taking you so many different directions, and you don't really know what to do, right? You're just kind of lost. I would sort of spend a little bit of time dabbling and figuring out, like, if you could figure out a combination of the things that you like doing. Like if you're really good at writing, you might be really good at posting on social or writing emails, and you could turn that into client-based work to make money. Maybe you're really good at building teams and delegating teams, and you could use that skill to build a team and have other people do work on your behalf, whether or not it's for clients or other things. There's many different ways that you could take that skill and go down a path. I kind of, I think I said to myself, and this is probably the best advice I could give, is like a general overlook of everything, is
Yeah.
I thought to myself, what was like the happiest I was in my life like all throughout my life. Like I'm 37 and I thought, okay, when was like the happiest time? Like I was really happy and just not feeling like I was having as many like down moments, like we've all had some depression or whatever
Oh
in our
yeah.
lives. And I kind of thought about like when I was a younger kid and I wasn't thinking about women, I wasn't thinking about money. I basically just went to school. I came home, I hung out with my buddies, we played a lot of video games,
Yeah.
and I actually tried to recreate that life for myself as much as I could. So I kind of put in my own mind space, I just said, hey, I'm going to like recreate that life. So that's why I have my CRT back here with my original Nintendo and all this stuff. I wanted to like recreate as much of like this good time I could have. And all the like last 2, 3 years, I would go on bike rides just like I did as a kid. I would ride around my block on my bike. After I got out of school, I would play video games. So I bought electric bikes, and now I'll go on random bike rides during the day, or I'll play video games during the day. And I don't have a team really. I basically just kind of figured out how can I do adulting and also have like a really fun time. Like if I want to wear a
Yeah.
Blink 182 t-shirt during the day, I don't really want to dress up in a suit. I want to do whatever I want, when I want. And that's kind of what I was doing when I was a kid, and I was really happy at
Yeah.
that age. So I kind of
Hmm.
figured, how can I recreate that as much as possible and do it in adult form where I can pay the bills and still buy fun things for myself and enjoy myself, have a family, and own a
Yeah.
big house, right?
Hey man, I'm all
That
about
was kind
that.
of my goal.
That's really interesting. So if there was one tool in your business that is your favorite, hands down, I can't do anything without this software, what software or tool would that be?
Um, right now, probably the biggest would be Active Campaign, which is my email marketing service. There's many of them, obviously, you can get. There's free ones out there, but a good like beginner starter one, I would say, would be something like a MailChimp or a ConvertKit. Those would be good like comparable options. But that's probably the biggest one. Like I'm really weird. I'd rather go spend like $600 on software and know that I own it forever than pay $10 a month for something. I don't know why, but I just hate having subscriptions everywhere.
Yeah. Oh,
So I'm always like trying to cut everything out, and that email system is probably like the only one I haven't been able to cut out of what I'm doing or what I'm utilizing.
it's like a strong fundamental software solution that you just need, that you have to have.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the one source where I have a controllable audience, that it's like mine and no one else can take that from me. Like Facebook can't just like shut it down like a group or whatever, or ban me. YouTube could ban me, right? It's like a controllable asset that I own, having the email list.
Got it. Interesting. And I think that's relatable to a lot of people, because everyone needs an email system, and that goes for any business. But John, thank you so much. Again, John Shea of No Shame Income, coming out from Massachusetts. Hey, I really appreciate you chatting with me. It was really informative, and you really dropped a lot of knowledge. So thanks for joining me today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right. Talk to you soon.